coming at you live from the kitchen, cooking up some magic yet again. All jokes aside, bear with me. As you know, I've just moved house, and I moved into a house right now with very little furniture. I moved overseas, waiting for my furniture to come via ship. So this is probably a better backdrop than what you'd see elsewhere. Bear with me. It's not my new studio. Enough said. Now, I'm going to be pretty candid in this video. And it's important you take this for what it is. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm giving you my opinion. Sometimes those opinions are going to veer heavily into one area or another. And this may be one of those videos. So to jump right in, there are very few times in life we are presented with an opportunity to change our lives financially to such a huge degree as we are right now. This very moment is one that's for sure going to go down in history as one that some people were able to see and act on, but most unfortunately did not. There have been many, many big money people sitting on the sidelines for a good while now. Huge amounts of revenue sitting on the shelf or being utilized in other markets outside of crypto due to a lack of sign-off. A lack of sign-off by institutions and money houses. A lack of trust in the market. If you've watched my previous videos, you should know by now this has now changed, with the biggest institutions in the world not only signing off, but actively seeking to be one of the first through the door into this magical world where crypto meets traditional finance. If you are looking for an indicator that strongly suggested to an almost, dare I say it, guaranteed level that investing wisely into crypto would yield better returns than anywhere else on the planet, then in my opinion, we now have it. If you don't see it, sucks to be you. Not only do we have Bitcoin ETFs on the precipice of being, and as we know, it's trillions and trillions, 16.6 trillion to be exact, coming into Bitcoin alone, we now have Ethereum getting that same BlackRock treatment with an Ethereum ETF now also in the works already. We've seen Fidelity follow suit, and we may, and as we've discussed in the past, it's only a matter of time before that chain reaction takes place, the floodgates open, and we start to see hundreds of new applications for Ethereum ETFs. Again, you simply won't find a bigger flag to act on than this. So, all that being said, what is the play here? We talk about the importance of DCAing into the market during bear markets where prices are low and that risk curve is in a much more favorable position for us. But this time around, things look a little different to me. This time around, what has once really been seen as hope built on somewhat of a potentially unstable foundation where even the notion of crypto being around for the long haul was in question. Now, we seem to be in a situation where crypto is being seen by the biggest money men in the world as the next inevitable revolution available to us to maximize returns. This is an entirely different situation. In my mind, we have made the transition from really subjective hopium and fringe investing within a space that has always been outside of traditional investments, outside of those typical traditional investment vehicles, to what is now a much more probabilistic scenario, let's say, of fantastic returns on investment. It's as easy as that for me. And again, I don't want you to construe this as financial advice. It's important that I keep saying that. But to me, again, I'll say it, this is an almost guaranteed return on investment that will render all current investment avenues moot if utilized correctly. Real estate, who? Gold, what? Stock market, where? Crypto investing now will totally dominate and provide the biggest returns versus risk taken right now we will ever likely see again. Do not take this lightly. Those acting now will set themselves up for life if they play this scenario out in the right way. Right now, looking at some of the main players from the last cycle, just to get to previous all-time highs, Bitcoin needs a 2x, Ethereum needs a 2x, Avalanche a 6x, Hex a 50x, Solana a 4x, and a ton of others who need multiple X's just to get back to their previous all-time highs, where the money matriculating through crypto isn't even going to be a fraction of what's due to be unleashed. You got to use some common sense here and connect the dots yourself. Sometimes, as I say, the writing's on the wall. And right now, the writing's on the wall. This, in my opinion, is the literal easiest time to invest and make money right now. Before we kick into full gear and things get crazy, never mind Bitcoin season that's then followed by altcoin season where altcoin prices start shooting up to the moon. Right now, we are in advance of all of that. And it's time to set your positions if you haven't done already. With so much money due to fly into the market, it's going to be insanely difficult to not make money if you're investing into some solid options, especially the blue chips that have been around, that have their use cases, that have a seemingly long road ahead of them and the potential to keep scaling. At a very minimum, we see Bitcoin doing another 2-3x from here. If that was the stock market, we'd be overjoyed, let alone Ethereum that's probably set to do at least a 5x from where it is today. If there was ever a time to bet the house, it's now. And of course, I'm not qualified to tell you to bet the house. But if you were going to bet the house, now would be a better time to do so than at any other time, especially as we start entering the bull market proper, where most decisions seem to be made by those suffering euphoria. Lenses tend to get skewed as we get into a very euphoric environment. But to me, I'll say it again, weighing up the pros and cons right now, looking at risk on versus reward, now looks like the time to jump in with both feet. And I'm going to. This is really a time that will see the brave dominate and the meek kick themselves. There's no easy way of saying it. There are times in life where I failed to see or I failed to act on seen opportunities to go all in, and I've regretted it. And right now, to me, this is a time for me, I can't speak for you, to go all in. And as I said, I'm going to. I'm not a financial advisor. I keep saying it. It's annoying, I know. But there are always going to be those who may revert back to this in the future and cause some headaches. I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't tell you what to do. I can only tell you that right now, in my opinion, is the closest thing we will get to a guarantee, providing your time horizon is, of course, long enough. You're not planning on trading in and out of positions in the next couple of months. That's a trading mentality, not one that I get behind at all. Yeah, there are times for that, but when it comes to setting a portfolio for the long term, where you want to see those monumental returns and you've done enough due diligence to know it's not a meme coin, it's not temporary, it's a solid project and therefore more of an investment and not a gamble, then this is the lens I look through for my own investments. Now, it's important to note, you're going to see a lot of white-collar investors preaching about Ethereum and Bitcoin in the coming months, taking big positions. And quite honestly, if you're working with big budgets, it's a solid option. To make a 3 to 5x on your $1 million or even a couple $100,000 can be a solid enough return to make you feel that you capitalized and did not miss out on this opportunity. But for most of us who are early, educated, but maybe lack those deep pockets for those huge initial positions, we're going to have to look a little further afield for our big returns. A 5x simply won't do it for us if we want to change our lives to any great extent. We need a 10x, 20x, 100x, 1000x. The best thing about this, believe it or not, right now, we have as much of a chance to accomplish this as we have ever had at any other time and likely will in the future. We are in a magical moment where the crypto market is positioned at a point of time where huge money is entering the market. A ton of price movement is yet to happen due to this income and influx of money, yet we aren't yet at a point where regulations have come in to diminish our returns like they have in so many other markets. It's a perfect storm and a sweet spot for us to act quickly and efficiently right now. So what do we do? Well, the simple answer is we balance our portfolios with some no-brainer 3 to 5x returns like Ethereum. We will then lean the rest of our portfolio into some solid projects that we like the look of because we've analyzed the fundamentals. We see the great potential and the road ahead, but are somewhat a little bit more risky. These are out there and they are ready to blast off come bull season, in my opinion, providing we have the conviction, the intelligence to not get shaken out along the way. Some examples that we've talked about and will continue to talk about on this channel and in my private group, for instance, Hex, pulsechain, pulsex, part of a singular ecosystem by Richard Hart that is most certainly, in my mind, set for a monumental rise come bull season, providing returns to us that make more than that 10 to 20 to 50x. I think that these type of tokens can legitimately get into the hundreds of x's, just like we've seen within this ecosystem before, but without so much of a gamble as the meme coins that are out there. Let's say Casper, huge potential. Quant, huge potential. HBAR, huge potential. Metis, huge potential. These are all plays right now that we haven't even begun to see the fruits of getting into. As I keep saying, not your financial advisor, but I'm also not going to sit back and pretend that I'm seeing these next 2 years playing out as anything other than our best opportunity to become rich. And that sentence alone would be ridiculous to me at any other time. But if you're brave enough, if you have enough conviction at the indicators that you're seeing, right now, I stand by it. If you make bold moves, I foresee getting some very, very bold returns. Stay tuned for more. Again, feel free to join our private group. We would absolutely love to have you. We are going to dominate this next cycle, and hopefully you can come along for the ride. We would love nothing more than to celebrate acting boldly during these times, to start living like most people are not able to. And I'm here to tell you, in my opinion right now, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to be dragged down by trying to set realistic expectations to cover my own ass. I don't think that brings you value. For me, I see an opportunity to go balls deep into this, to jump in with both feet. If you see it too, feel free to follow suit and let's do some damage.